G'day Wallaby Dick, and welcome to a very interesting episode of Tascast Fishing Adventures. Today we are out here at AgFest chatting to some vendors about fantastic, healthy ways to release our fish alongside the best practices when you are fishing out on the water. We're also going to have a quick chat to some of the other vendors about some of the best gear to use at the present moment to hook yourself onto some fantastic tuna or other topwater species, even some species down deep. So let's have a bit of a chat. Hopefully we can learn a thing or two, and thanks for tuning in. Okay, so I'm here out at AgFest today with Indy Thompson, a part of the Tuna Champions, and she is discussing a little bit about how to handle your bluefin tuna, or tuna of all sorts, shapes and sizes.
Yeah, we've just recently expanded to include yellowfin and longtail, but essentially our program teaches and gives recreational anglers the tools to be able to keep and or release their bluefin tuna and the best ways to do this.
Cool. So what are some of the best methods of handling your tuna when you do pull one boat side?
The best methods actually start before you even put your lure in the water. So if you're planning on releasing fish, you don't want to be running treble hooks because that drastically affects the rate of that fish surviving when you release it. So you want single hooks, preferably circles if you're bait fishing, but single hooks on your hard-bodied lures and skirts. Essentially, this gives the fish hook up right in the corner of the mouth, means that you're doing less damage to the gill plate, less bleeding, more chance of survival. And once you've got the fish on board, you want it on a mat, so no hard surfaces, wet hands, using knotless nets. There's so much to it. Yep. But as I said, we've got all this information we're now giving out to anglers in our code of conduct, and they can check that out online or on our website, even socials, and that'll tell you everything you need to know and more about releasing fish.
Amazing. So there's a fair bit to it. What is the website that we can go to if we would like to learn a little bit more?
So tunachampions.com.au, or head over to our Facebook and Instagram. That's where we put the really cool stuff. Because as you know, things update and evolve over time, and we get more and more information, and that's how we like to deliver it in the quickest format. So check us out on socials, and if you ever see me at an event, come and say hello and ask me anything tuna related.
Fantastic. And now, you're a pretty keen angler around Tasmania. There's no denying that. You've got a name for yourself for absolutely smashing it out there and having some fantastic days on the water. What's your favourite species to target down here in Tassie?
In Tassie, it would have to be swordfish. I couldn't, as much as I'm standing here in Tuna Champions gear, I absolutely adore swordfish. They're my favourite fish to catch. Just their sheer size is spectacular, and incredibly, from a science perspective, what they can do is incredible.
They're very deep water species and quite elusive to chase. I've done many drops last season and I could not hook up one to save my life, but I did run into Indy at the boat ramp down in Tasmania after she'd just spent, how long? It was 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
5 or 6 hours, could not move a muscle, the poor thing, in her car, and had just caught and released. I think you were chasing a world record of sorts, but... Yeah,
I was. I think that fish we released with a tag, and that was healthy after about 4 or 5 hours. So I predominantly like to tag them, but with swordfish you do actually have a really bad survival rate. So you got to be happy to take to the water and ready to keep one for your plate if you're fishing for swordfish.
If you are releasing a swordfish, what is the methodology for a clean release or attempting a nice release on one of those species?
They're a really difficult fish to release at its absolute basis. You'll find that if you actually get gas in the stomach, swell up a little bit. So the best thing you can do is swim it. If it's not swimming well, that's where you have to start considering what you're going to do from that point on. Some people will release them and they'll just stay on the surface, and that's when you know this might be a fish that you're going to take home and harvest. But just water over the gills, reducing that fight time, that is really, really important. Heavy gear, get it up as quickly as you possibly can, get that tag in, less time by the boat, the better chance it's got of living. Little things make a big difference. Massive difference to a fish's survival.
So in terms of if you are sort of going for some healthy releases with the swordfish, what would you
60
recommend?
kilo. I would start at the top
60.
and come down.
Okay.
So the bigger the better. 60, 37 kilo line, circle hooks. J hooks have a tendency to gut hook. That's going to bring the stomach up. So circle hooks, corner of the mouth. Larger circles are even better again. Heavy leader. And of course, experienced anglers and crew. Everyone's got to learn and start somewhere, but if you've got someone on board who has some experience handling these fish, it can be quite daunting when you're looking boat side and you have a 200-300 kilo fish there.
Especially when that
to want to grab the leader and get
out.
that tag in. So having someone on board who is experienced is super important.
It's fantastic to be out here at AgFest talking to all of the vendors and educating ourselves. Stay safe out on the water, and thanks for your time. And I think you're heading off in a couple of days as well. You're scooting around. So.
Yeah, going to chase some yellowfin tuna. So stay tuned.
Well, tight lines.
Tight lines, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Good luck. We are currently positioned outside here at Seamaster Fishing Supplies, but it is home to the notorious Salty. He has caught some fantastic tuna in the last couple of years, last couple of seasons. So we're going to have a quick chat to him about some of the best methods that he employs to get onto these incredible species. So I'm here at Seamaster Fishing Supplies. You guys are located down south, aren't you?
Yeah, Margate and Goodwood down south.
Yep.
Devonport up north.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Port Lincoln.
So tell me a little bit about your time on the water. What species do you normally target? You've got a name for yourself around Tassie.
I love tuna fishing, mate. Tuna's my go-to these days. But snapper's got a pretty big spot for me as well. Yeah, love the snapper fishing. Yeah.
The snapper fishing down here in Tassie is relatively elusive. I mean, I feel like you've got to have your spots to be able to get onto them. Do you normally fish for them up north or south?
North, predominantly around Devonport. I haven't really fished for them anywhere else, mate. But it was it was a well-hidden secret for a long time in Tassie on snapper fishing. So I've tried to help share it as much as possible. How to go about it, what to look for, where to chase them.
Cool. Yeah. So you've had a pretty incredible season as well on the barrel tuna. Tell me a couple of your stories as of late.
So obviously after catching barrel bluefin 3 years ago off Devonport, it's really you get stuck in it and you just
you get that itch.
You get a massive itch. So done a lot of tuna fishing off Devonport.
Yeah.
I've hooked 9 now so far off Devonport and landed 4.
Yep.
The last one been a couple of weeks ago, but that one we got it to the boat and had a few little hiccups and it busted off beside the boat. Well, we was hoping to tag the fish, so I didn't have a gaff or anything ready to take the fish. But that's how fishing goes some days.
It is, yeah. Well, you can still get back out there and give it another crack.
Definitely.
So when you're going to go on your next voyage, what sort of lures? We've got a fantastic array of lures just here on the right of us. What sort of lures do you like to run? Are you a hard body man? Are you a skirt man?
I love a good mixture. I always have a couple of hard bodies, and I'm known to run a pretty big spread of lures. So if the weather allows, I normally have 6 or 7 lures out there.
Yeah, that's a bit of a difference in comparison to the video that we recently uploaded, where we 3-way hooked up with 2 people on board, and we still managed to drop 1 fish. But having 6 on board, I guess that helps if you're chasing a barrel and you only need that 1 hookup.
Yeah.
What do you do if all of them go off? What's your plan of attack then?
You just deal with it in the situation. We've had plenty of sort of 4, 5-way, 6-way hookups on schoolies.
Wow.
And you just start on your rods that's closest to the boat and then work
your way out.
To the longer rods.
It's so hard to do that. Like, it's so easy to say that's your plan of attack, but then when all of them are just screaming, I can imagine you get quite discombobulated. You're just like, which one should we go for?
That's you just gotta drum that into the people you take out. It's like, rods, if they start going, just the second rod goes, the third rod, just swap your rod. If you've already picked up a long rod, stick him up in the up above you or somewhere high so that line's out of the way, and then grab one of your short rods and pump him in.
We'll chuck a bit of value for the viewers. So what sort of skirts would you recommend? What have you hooked your barrels on in the past? What have we got here?
I'm a massive fan of the Meridian lures, and Blue Lumo's been an absolute killer for me.
Oh look, there's one lucky last one left.
One Blue Lumo there. That's an original Blue Lumo.
Yep.
Which I actually got given one like 3 years ago. Mate said, it's one of his favourite albacore lures, and gave me one. Ethan Burton, and run it off Devonport when I first had a bit of a troll out there looking for tuna, and that was what I caught the first barrel off Devonport.
On that size as well?
On the actual this size.
Oh, smaller. Wow.
Smaller. And since then, like I say, I've had 9 hookups and 5's been on the Blue Lumo Meridian.
Wow.
And this year for AgFest, done a bit of talking with Danny Suddle, and we've just varied it up a little bit. Got him to make a Blue Lumo. It's a bit darker in the colour of the blue, and then it's got a bright pink underskirt. Yeah.
Well, if you are looking to equip yourself with a little bit of fishing tackle, don't go past Seamaster Fishing Supplies. And thanks very much for your time, Salty. It's nice to hear about some of your stories and what you're hooking your barrels on, and hopefully we'll see you out on the water.
I appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of Tascast. We hope you learnt a thing or two. Comment down below something that you will take from our guest speakers, a piece of information, and I will pick one of the lucky commenters and send them one of the new Tascast t-shirts. Subscribe to the channel, like the video if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next one.